Welcome back to my channel. Ay, según yo. Okay? So today is actually, I'm going to be doing a story time, I just said that. Ya ven que no, me pongo nerviosa cuando hablo por video. It's just weird having to talk to myself. Well, I'm talking to you guys, but there's no one back there. Alright, this is awkward. But let's start this, okay? Okay, so basically I will be talking about like the dreams that I used to have as a child and how they came true like in reality and stuff like that. The car accident that I got into, and I'll be talking about God. If you don't believe in God, it's up to you if you want to listen to this. If not, just exit out, please. I don't need no judgment or anything. This is from my own personal experience. But basically I would always have dreams, and those kind of dreams would always become real life. Kind of weird to say that, but as a little girl, I would always see shadows too. Which one am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about the car accident and God? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so basically, I'll just stay with one topic. The other topic will be about shadows, that's another story. All right. So basically, when I was younger, I actually would have really bad dreams, and if I repeatedly had that dream, within the same week, it ended up coming up true. So there was this one week where I kept dreaming that I was crashing into a tree, like a really big tree. And I was scared. I was really scared because I would wake up just crying, freaking out, just shaking and everything. Within that same week, I was dreaming about that same tree. I was dreaming about, I'll explain it to you just how it happened, okay? Because now I know a lot more, but before I did it. So I also dreamt about, in my old neighborhood, I actually hate with the passion in my old neighborhood. I hate the house that I used to live in with the passion, because every time I have a bad dream, it goes back to that being at that house. Which I'm not saying I had a bad childhood there, but I don't know. Just that house in general just gives me bad vibes, period. So basically, I dreamt about crashing into a tree, and I also dreamt about that we were in my old neighborhood. There were so many people, and my mom was there just bragging about, like, she was bragging about her pregnancy and stuff like that. So, but the way I was seeing things was kind of different. So my vision in my dream was a whole bunch of people in that neighborhood, in that same house, well, the neighbor's house, which is still family to us and until they stay still there. What was I saying? I tend to forget shit. Oh yeah, so there was a whole bunch of people there, and my mom was happy, telling everybody that she was pregnant, and this and that. And then that time, I was like, in the dream, I was actually able to like see what she was talking about. So she was like rubbing her belly and stuff like that, and I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? Why are you telling people you're pregnant? And then she's like, she actually was in real life. And she was just like, well, I'm telling them now. I know it's early, this and that. But when I kept looking at her stomach, it's so weird. It's so weird because the vision that I had was like a bag, a dirty, dirty bag with the baby in it. And I was like, Mom, this bag is really dirty, and nothing here looks right. To me, it looks kind of weird. So she was like, no, that's how the baby's supposed to look. This and that. So I'm like, okay, well, she's telling people all that stuff, but there was a lot of people in the house for a certain reason too. So I was so confused of, why is there so many people here? Why is my mom doing this? And why am I seeing this other stuff? And why am I also dreaming that I'm crashing into a tree? That whole week that I was going to the college, I won't even say which college I went to, but the first year that I was attending college, the first week of with me having those dreams, I actually didn't want to drive. I was pretty scared to drive, so I kept telling my dad, like, hey dad, can you take me over here? Can you take me over here? And he's just like, what the hell? Like, okay, fine, I'll take you. And anytime that he would actually brake, I would freak out, and I'd be like, oh my god, be careful please. This is gonna be it. Like, I was freaking the hell out. All right. Little couple days, I got over it, and I was like, man, I should just stop tripping about this. And then randomly, my boyfriend and I and the friends decided to go out to we'd all decided to go out to a club. So we were pretty excited. We were all dressed up, taking pictures and everything and whatnot. And we head down there. Unfortunately, we were all shed packing. So if you don't know what shed packing it means, we had a lot of friends in the back lapping each other. So basically, like, there was no room. We obviously had alcohol and stuff like that. We head down to the club. We're partying, whatever. We're done. We get out, and my friends, the ones that were lapping it, were like, no, actually, we're gonna we're actually gonna go with some other friends, but we'll see you next time. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. You know, kind of felt bad because I was the only girl, so I was only left with my boyfriend and his friend. This sucks because if you guys kind of know the story, I don't want to say too much. So I was the only sober one, of course, and I decided to drive, obviously. So I was driving, and then honestly, within that time, I think I was like 17, 18, possibly. I didn't really know how to get on the highway, and I actually got really nervous. So these dudes were telling me like, yeah, go through here, go through there, and I didn't know the area very well, so they were like, go through here, go through there, go through there. I had my seatbelt on and everything. And then we're riding on the highway, and I just felt like I was going back in circles, and they were just laughing at me. They were just kind of like, están burlando, más bien, like it was funny to them because they were just like not sober. So I was like, I got irritated, so I took off my seatbelt. I parked on the side of the road, took off my seatbelt, and I was like, fuck it, like you fucking drive. So I made this person drive. It's just, I don't want to say too much. Before they got that, we switched seats. I was driving, and apparently, in the car we did have a gun in the vehicle. And like I said, we were driving, and it was just like frustrating for me. As soon as the other person started driving, and he fucked up because he just got in the wrong lane. And just caught attention, got the police officer's attention. The police officer actually ended up getting behind us. So I looked at the mirror, and I'm just like, oh, damn, like, we got pulled over, like, pull over. Driver, obviously, boyfriend, was not going to. I was not aware. So once he looked at the cops, he kind of just, like, sped, and he got really nervous. He has his own reasons of why. He sped, and of course, it put everybody's life in danger. And it was a scary situation because we were honestly getting chased by about 15 cops. Like, it was really that bad. We were in a speed chase basically. So a car came here, car came in there, car from here, trying to block us. They were basically everywhere. It was so scary because at the same time we still had beer in the car, and we were just getting rid of it left and right, freaking out. Everybody's freaking out, and I skipped the part. Fuck. Okay. Rewind. Okay. So there was a moment actually that I was really mad at God. I was mad because I'm like, you're not helping these people. Why are these people suffering? I was so mad with God that I was just respecting him in every other way. I stopped believing in him. I just didn't care anymore. I didn't care, and I felt really bad doing it, but at the same time, it was just anger. I don't know what it was exactly. I don't know what I was going through, but I was to the point where I was telling everybody like, no, fuck this, fuck that. Like, I don't believe in him anymore, and this and that. All right, so now going back to that story where we're driving. So as we're driving, we're getting chased. Everything was so weird. Everything kind of just like, I don't know how to explain it. Everything was just like, I wish you guys can see my vision, because it's honestly not the easiest thing to explain. I can explain it to you, but you won't feel anything, you know? That's the whole thing, feeling, not actually just seeing it, but feeling it. So with all the commotion going on, I looked up, and I was just crying, and I was just like, oh, dear God, please help me. And honestly, once I did that, it was the weirdest thing ever, because it's like, I seen like a light, like, it's not even funny, like, it's not funny. Like, I seen a light just going straight up and basically was like listening to me. I felt that I was being listened to. So I was like, oh wow. So I'm not at the moment, but but at the moment, like, I was just praying, saying, please help us, please help me, help me. And I was praying and everything. And just the feeling that I had, it was just, I don't know how to explain it to you, but it was like, not magical, but like I said, I just felt like someone was there listening and watching me. It was weird. I could tell you that. It was really weird. So we drove and drove. Cops, like I said, come in here and there. And then next thing you know, we go into this other neighborhood. This other neighborhood was like in a curve. And the truck was actually sliding to the side. And I was like, oh shit, like, it's going to be me. It's going to be me, the one's going to be falling. And we were headed straight to this house. The only house that actually had like a bar fence. We ended up kind of hitting it. But we hit like the concrete or something like that, and it actually popped my tire. It was weird how it happened. Like, I can't explain everything, but it popped my tire, so it skipped it and didn't have us hit exactly the bars, because or else I think we would have been dead in general. But it popped it, so it threw the truck to the other side of the neighborhood. And when I opened my eyes, that's when I saw the big tree. Like, it was a big tree. And that's when I said to myself, like, hold on. That's when I said to myself, like, I'm done. Like, this is it. I'm gonna die. And I closed my eyes and I thought I was gone. And somehow I felt like a move, like something moved me, and we ended up just rolling over and crashing in front of a house. Everything else happened. I won't explain too much in that situation. But they pulled the whole windshield was cracked open. So they already had police officers pointing their guns at us. They pulled each one of us out. Hold on. They were pulling all of us out, and then they see me and they're like, "Oh, it's a girl, it's a girl, it's a girl." But I honestly was not like comprehending anything. I was just looking for my phone, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta call my dad. I gotta call my dad and let him know where I'm at. I'm supposed to be home already. This, and that." I'm looking for my phone the whole time while they're pointing a gun at me, and I wasn't understanding what they were trying to tell me. And one guy was like, "You move one more time and we'll shoot." And that's when I freaked out, and I looked back, and the homie in the back was like all scared with his hands up. That's when I was like, "Fuck, like, this is for real. Like, I'm not dreaming this. Like, this shit's for real." So I decided to just put my hands up. I was pretty pissed and like upset about the situation. They pulled me out. They had dogs on us, which I'm pretty scared of dogs, big dogs. They had a dog on me, and still the guns pointed at me. A lady arrested me, pulled me out. My legs had blood all over. My face apparently did too. I didn't feel anything, so they called the paramedics. They took me to the car, and they were like, "Oh, do you need us to call an ambulance?" And I was like, "No, I'm fine. Like, just make sure that my people are good. Like, make sure that they're good." And they were like, "Oh, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." I'm in the car, and then this cop comes up to me, or this I think it was the guy from the ambulance comes up to me, and he goes, "So what happened?" Like, he was laughing about it, and I was like, our car's rolled over, everything's a mess, and I'm like, "What the fuck do you think happened? Like, are you kidding me right now?" And he got like, you can see his face like kind of just like dropped, and he just like fucking slammed the door on me. And I was like, "You fucking bitch!" And like, I was arrested in the back seat of the car, of the cop car. So I'm like kicking the door, and then somebody else comes up to me, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And then I was like, "Well, fuck this dude. Like, I don't know why you guys even had him come to my door." I'm like, "Oh, he's the paramedics. Is that what you call him? And he's here to help you." And I'm like, "What's wrong with me? Like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm walking." And they're like, "Your face is full of blood." And I'm like, "What? Okay, whatever." Someone else comes, and they pick me up, and they take me to the ambulance. When we go to the ambulance, I'm trying to get up, and I'm wearing a dress from the club. I'm so uncomfortable trying to get up because, I mean, you couldn't see my underwear if I move up the step to get into the ambulance. So the cop was trying to help me. And mind you, when I was getting like asked questions by the cop, like, he sat me in. This was before getting the ambulance to another different cop car. He got me in his seat, and like, he kind of like bent down to talk to me, and the way he was talking to me made me really, really uncomfortable. That's when I was like, "All right, close this and put the dress a little bit like lower," because he made me feel very uncomfortable. And that's when I stood up and left, and that's when they took me to the ambulance. They put me in the ambulance, and it was just awkward because I was like, give me towel, like, give me a blanket or something, because I'm trying to cover my legs. But mind you, my legs are full of like, they were full of glass. But I didn't care. I was like, cover it. And in the meantime, my head over here is just like, "Can I borrow a phone? Because I'm trying to call my dad. I'm trying to call my dad." And they were like, "Yeah, not right now, not right now." And there was blood all over me. Yeah, don't give me your phone, man. I don't want to put my blood all over it. I'm clean, but that's nasty still. So I get to the hospital, and they try to trick you. What happened here? What happened there? He said this, he said that. And I'm kind of just like, what? And this dude, the homie, just straight up lied and said a whole bunch of different shit that did not happen. So I had to clarify that. And then I finally was able to get like the phone and call my dad. My dad doesn't really answer unknown calls, but he answered it this time, and it was like probably like a 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And then he's like, "Bueno." And then I was like, "Dad." And I started like breaking down, and I'm like, "I'm at the hospital." And he goes, "What?" You could hear my mom in the background like, "What the fuck? What do you mean?" So they were just yelling, and it's making me cry even more because, I was over here thinking I was a thug, like sucking it up, like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." No, I cried. I think when I talk to my dad, that's when it makes me nervous. But yeah, called him up and he was on his way. When they finally arrived there, like my whole family was there. Not my whole family because I don't have everybody here, but like my siblings and my parents showed up, and they kind of like their faces just dropped, and I was just like, what? Like, I'm good. I'm good. And my mom just started crying, and she's like, oh my God, Jesse, your face, your face. And I'm like, what about my face? Like, they told me it was like this big. Like, what's the big deal? I have like a little cut. My mom's like, no, stupid, it's fucking big. And I was like, what? Because they were putting stitches on me and everything and scrubbing the fuck out of my legs to take off the glass and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And I was like, what do you mean? So they gave me a mirror, and I looked at it. I was crying. Like, you guys can kind of see it now. Like, kind of, if I stretch it. So it's basically from here to here. This whole big thing here. Like 2 different pieces, one going down, one going up right here. But it was pretty thick, and everything was stitched up. I got like over 20 stitches around there. And I was just upset. I was upset with a lot of things. Packed up and everything. I was ready to go. And I just remember the last thing I did before going to the car. I went to the bathroom and just saw myself. And like, I saw that. You guys can kind of see it too here sometimes. Like, I hate it in photos because it's not smooth. It's like bumpy. But I saw myself in the mirror, and I just looked at myself, and I tried to talk and I couldn't. Like, because of all the stitches, it like dragged. Like, everything was like this. Like that. And I was so unhappy because I was like trying to smile and like make myself feel better. I smiled, and it was just like, I'm not gonna say stupid because there's people out there that, you know, that unfortunately that happened to them and actually stay like that. But I cried because I was like, I never thought this would happen to me and stuff like that. And I drove off, and I told my dad, like, my dad was still interested in knowing like what happened and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, let's get this over with. So I told him, go through this street, go through that street, it's right here. And we crashed right here. And the crazy part about it is that I look right behind us, and there was a church. Like, that made me like, it was like honestly like a Rosa Guadalupe moment. It really was like a Rosa Guadalupe moment. And I cried because I was like, I can't believe like I prayed and I felt something that day, and like I crashed next to a church. Like, I didn't see that church, and the church was there. Like, I was just like shocked. I was like, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for disrespecting him. Like, why did I do that? I just felt like shit. Besides the fact that I was like, my body was already like sore. There was a cut in my face and everything. So within that same week, after my car accident, me just trying to like make myself feel better or whatever, everybody else is arrested. They were doing time. Well, my boyfriend was. And I'm just looking like, what's next? Like, what's next? So within that same week, we had a family member pass away, which was in that household that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And once we showed up, you know, to like give our respects and stuff like that, like, the whole house was full of people. People admired him a lot. And exactly how I saw it is what I dreamt. And my mom was still pregnant at that time. And then within that same month cycle, my mom ended up having a miscarriage. I didn't know much about pregnancy and stuff like that. But when she said like a baby is una bolsa, like it grows in a bag or whatever, that's what they call it. And I'm like, how would I know that? Like, I don't know how pregnancies work. And I was like, that's weird. And I saw it so dirty, and honestly, that's just how it happened. Like, not how it happened, but like, it's a miscarriage. And it's something really sad that women go through. And at the time, I honestly, like, I don't know how that feels. Just like you guys don't know how I felt within like that time that I was speaking to God. I didn't know how that felt. So I felt like shit, you know, because you don't know what to say to them. You don't know what the right thing to say to them, or anybody that, like, you know, the person that passed away, the family member that passed away. It just sucks knowing that you saw it. Like, it was like a warning or so, you know. And it was just crazy because we had the miscarriage, we had the death happen, and then my car accident. Well, mix those up, but in the car accident, like, that fucking tree, like, I will never ever like forget it. I will never forget it, because that's the moment where I was like, I'm done. Like, my mind just went black. Everything was just like gone. Basically, within that time, I just started getting closer to God and praying, thanks to like people around me and stuff like that. Because most of my friends were like into God and stuff like that. So like I decided to get closer to Him and like thank Him, and I would thank Him for everything that He did. And I know He was listening. Like, it's crazy to say it, but I know He was listening. It was the weirdest thing ever, a good and weird thing, because you just don't expect it. It was a last minute thing, and I felt His presence. I can tell you that. So if any of you are out there and like don't believe in God and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not the person to come to talk to you about God. But I had my own personal experience, and I decided to share that with you guys. I hope you guys won't ever get into a car accident or something like really. I guess at times you kind of have to go through some bad stuff in order for you to believe. Seeing is believing. I hate it when people are like, oh, there's no God, but yet you believe in the devil. Like, if there's a bad, there's a good. You know what I mean? So basically, just and I think actually, and I actually also think that my friends didn't come back with me in the car, because I know for a fact that one of them would have been dead. Like, it gives me chills right now, but I know for a fact that one of them wouldn't have lived. And I thank God for that, because they went their own way, and it just happened to me because I think I'm more of a stronger girl, you know what I'm saying? Just kidding. But yeah, so I actually ended up putting aloe vera or some shit like that for straight 3 months. And then I was like, you know what, I was supposed to do it for a couple more months, but I decided not to. I was like, you know what, let's leave it there. Because that is something big that I went through. Not saying that I'm bragging about the car accident, not saying anything else, because no, that was not fun. That was a big mess, you know. But you know, I'm kind of thug. Just kidding. No, but to me it was a reminder of when I started believing in God, when I actually felt His presence. You know, it was kind of like a slap in the face. I don't worry about it now. Well, kind of when I take pictures, it does bother me, but it's not as bad, because it is, like I said, a reminder. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening to my story time. And I'm done. I will be sharing another story time. This one is actually about ghosts. So if you don't believe, because bitch, I saw it. I'll make another video of that. I'll go into detail with that one. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Till next time. Wait. I'll sitting down.